Green.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Merrill.
I'm here, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Nearing.
Here, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Peterson. Mayor Roberts.
I'm here.
And Councilmember Schweddy.
Present.
Chair, we have a quorum of board members in attendance. For our board alternates, we have Councilmember Gallagher in the room, and that concludes roll.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate that. We'll have our on to our public comments now. And so each speaker has 3 minutes to provide comments. Remarks must be relevant to community transit services, programs, projects, or activities. We'll start with in-room comments. Is there anyone in the room that would like to provide public comments to the board? Any staff members want to come and take a shot at it? No, just kidding. All right, well, if there's no one in the room, we'll move on to online comments. Is there anyone would like to have you raise your hand if you'd like to make a public comment if you're online? So far nothing doing. Okay, we will close public comments then and on to presentations. August 2025 service change, Max Hinkle. Come on down. And you have more than 3 minutes if you'd like to. So 3.5.
Okay. Hopefully that's. Alrighty. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good afternoon. My name is Max Hinkle. I'm a manager of system design and scheduling here at Community Transit. And I'm going to be talking about our fall 2025 service change. So just to provide a little background of where we're at. Since 2021, near our nadir of ridership, by the year 2024, we've been doing a lot of restoration of our ridership base. And so on weekdays, we've grown about 70%, which is great. However, on Saturdays and Sundays, we've actually grown even more, about 76% on Saturdays and 89% on Sundays. And when you look at that relative to our productivity on those days, in other words, when you divide the number of passengers per hour that we're moving, because we have fewer hours that we're delivering on Saturdays and Sundays, the productivity on Saturdays and Sundays is actually higher than it is on weekends. So we've seen that as kind of a clue that maybe we need to go and revisit our service levels and really take a harder look at weekends and see if we need to provide more service. So, as we've are planning out the remaining implementation of the 2024 and beyond plan, we're about halfway through at this point. We started that expansion in March of 2024, and well, a lot of what we've implemented has already, or in that plan has been implemented, but we've got about 45,000 annual revenue hours left as part of the implementation plan. And so we intend to add about 15,000 annualized revenue hours for the next 3 service changes. And as we do that, we want to maintain a lot of what we've already been doing with goals like making it easier to ride and prioritizing equity. But given that we've already had some time to get some feedback from some of the earlier phases of that implementation, we want to look at how some of those new services have been performing and seeing where we might need to make some course corrections in our plan in order to really target allocating service where we're seeing the best performance. And to give an example of that, I've got the route 201 and 202 here. So in the 2024 and beyond plan, weekends on that set of routes were programmed at 60 minutes each, so a combined frequency of 30 minutes. However, the performance on that set of routes has been really strong. Its productivity right now is roughly equivalent to what Swift is performing at. And so if you look at the chart on the right, where we break out productivity by day type and by route and by period, a lot of what floats all the way to the top when you exclude Swift is the 201, the 202, and the 117. So we see that as an indication like, hey, writers are responding to service really well in this corridor. Maybe this is where we want to continue investing. And so another set of context there is the 201 and 202 corridor is a future Gold Line route. So we want to make some investments that can build up ridership for that future BRT level of service. So I guess the other thing I'll add there is that we want to ensure that we're also staying within the original spirit of the 2024 and beyond plan. So all the changes that we're making are really within the original bounds of 25% of revenue hours for each of those routes in the 2024 and beyond plan. But with that, I'll just go through some of the notable high-level summaries of what we're doing in this fall service change. And then I'll get into a little more detail in the subsequent slides. So high level, the big headline news here is we've got a new weekend service on Route 121. That's a new route that we just started operating last year. And this is the first service change where we're going to be doing weekend service. So that's a route that connects you to Bothell in the south to Ashway Park and Ride in the north via Mill Creek. In addition to that, the Cathcart Park and Ride is going to be opening up sometime this fall, probably not right at the start of the service change, but shortly after. And so we're going to be deviating the Route 109 into the Cathcart Park and Ride so that we can get service in there. And then in future service changes, when we've got more infrastructure there for a comfort station for operators, we can start extending other routes out there, like the 166 and the 901. 907, we're going to be extending that route to Paynefield. That's an express route that connects Stanwood Park and Ride in the north to currently Seaway Transit Center to the south. So this is going to be moving it another mile or so down to Paynefield. And then some routing changes in the 424 in Monroe, which I'll go over. And my clicker is failing to advance. I wonder if I went to sleep. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so in terms of where we're adding service this fall, the only weekday change that we're really going to be focused on in the peak is the Route 112, which will be going to 20-minute headways. And then some modest frequency improvements on the 121 and the 222, which actually are just efficiency-based improvements. They don't actually require any more buses or any more platform hours to operate. Outside of that, though, almost all of our improvements that we're making for this fall are outside of the peak. So evening service on the 201 and 202 and Green Line on weekdays, and then a whole host of improvements on weekends, which is kind of supported by what I was showing you earlier about where we're seeing a lot of the ridership growth. In addition to that, we're making some span improvements on the Blue Line to get it closer to what the span of service on Link Light Rail is. That's some of the customer comments that we've been seeing, and it's definitely evident in the ridership as well, is that on Blue Line especially, the ridership is very strong in the evenings, and there's clearly demand for people, especially who are connecting from Link or other later night services to connect to Blue Line. So we're making some later trips on the Blue Line, actually both on weekdays and on weekends. All right. And so just to go into some greater detail for the Cathcart Park and Ride. This map here is showing generally what the routing is and where the Cathcart Park and Ride is located, which is Cathcart Way, where it meets Highway 9 in South Snohomish. Technically, it's unincorporated Snohomish County, but it's got a Snohomish address. And so because of its location, the routing going into the facility will be a little different than coming out, such that you know, if for buses that are going northbound, they have to go into the facility and then double back out onto Cathcart Way to continue up Highway 9. So a little more detail on Route 907. So this is also a new route that started operating last fall of 2024. And it was a route that combined a couple Boeing specific routes that we were operating before, the 227 and the 247. And so the timing of this route is still very much aligned with Boeing Everett shift changes. So service starts very early in the morning and then concludes kind of in the around 6 a.m. or so, 6:30, and then starts its first northbound trips early in the afternoon around 2:30, and are done by about 4:30. So timing-wise, very much Boeing focused. But one of the things we learned as we started operating this route was that there was also a lot of utility in connecting with Everett Station. And so we did that in March of this year. And when we did that, a lot of the feedback we got from customers was that even small tweaks in the timing of that route have big impacts on their commute because of the fraction of people there that are connecting with Boeing shuttle service at Seaway Transit Center. So we looked at the blocking, and we basically made the determination that we could extend the route to Payne Field without actually adding any extra buses in circulation. So for a pretty small increase in revenue hours, we're able to deliver quite a bit more accessibility to the Payne Field Manufacturing Industrial Center that we're in right here. And so especially looking at the data, we found that roughly 25% of Boeing workers are actually working south of SR 526, so this area. And roughly 9,000 out of the 40,000 folks who work in this area are actually within the travel shed of the 907. So, the benefits extend to not just Boeing workers. There are at least 2,000 or so non-Boeing workers that can be potentially benefiting from this change, as well as people who might be trying to connect to a flight. So it seemed like kind of a low cost way of improving service to an area we haven't previously served. Finally, I think this is my last slide. Route 424 will eventually change into the Route 908 and add a number of trips when 2 line reaches Linwood, which is scheduled for next year. And so the terminal at that point will change from downtown Seattle to downtown Bellevue. So it'll be a shorter route, and so for the same amount of resources, we'll be able to operate more trips. But one of the things we've been discovering as we eliminated most of our commuter service is that we've got a lot of double tall vehicles, and it can be a challenge sometimes finding good places to put those. And so the challenge here on the 424 is that there is some traffic light constraints on West Main Street in Monroe that really preclude us from operating a double tall there. So by making this modest change, we're able to have the future capability of operating double talls. And when we dove a little deeper into this issue, and we looked at where people were commuting to in the Frylands neighborhood, one of the things we found was that there is actually a significantly higher fraction of people living in the new neighborhood that the 424 will be serving that work in somewhere that the future 908 or the current 424 is connecting to. And so we actually think this will benefit more riders by making this change. So it's not just a constraint that's driven by operational requirements, but also it makes sense from a service planning perspective. And I think that is it. Does anybody have any questions?
Board members, have any questions for Max? Any service change? And we'll want to look online too, see if there's any hands raised over there.
I have a question.
Councilmember Merrill.
Yes.
Clear back at the early part, you talked about improvements in equity. Could you talk a little bit more about what is included in that equity statement?
Yeah, sure. So we are required, of course, to comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And so the Title VI analysis for the 2024 and beyond plan was done basically all at once. And so all of those changes were approved all at once. But we have discretion in the phasing of where we make those improvements at what time. So the routes that were in that 2024 and beyond plan that ranked higher from a Title VI populations perspective, we implemented those improvements earlier in the plan compared to the routes that had a smaller Title VI population.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Merrill. Any other questions from board members? Anything going on here? Anything online? Don't see any hands. Okay, Max, thank you so much for your presentation. We really
All right.
appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, you bet. All right, that leads us on to the CEO report. CEO Elgin Fritz, it's all yours.
Great. Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, board members. Great to see you all here on a midsummer's afternoon board meeting. I've got a few things to update you on. Wanted to make you aware of some of the activities I've been engaged in and a couple legislative updates and some regional stuff, and then system performance and some marketing highlights. Without further ado, last week I was able, along with Deb, to meet with Congressman Larson. He was in town as part of the August recess, and we were able to brief him on our approach to grant strategy in this cycle. And so that was a beneficial opportunity to make him aware. He's always, as you know, been very supportive of our grant applications with FTA in addition to the legislative process. So we will continue to coordinate with him and his staff, looking to see some kind of feedback from FTA as early as September on the applications we've submitted this year. So we'll keep you posted on that. Hosted the bi-monthly South County Leadership Roundtable here at Cascade this week, and that's a group that normally is sort of co-facilitated by Mayor Frizzell, and it was our turn to host. We had the PUD come in and, along with Jay Heim, brief that leadership group on how the PUD plans to meet electrical demand in the future and how we fit into that and coordinate our planning on our zero emission program. So it was a fun opportunity to share some new information and some insights with that group about the utility picture here in the county. And then, of course, the board is aware that we had an audit exit conference last week on the 30th of July. And I want to thank Chair Roberts and board members Frizzell, Merrill, Schweddy, and Daughtry for attending that as we continue our collaborative and positive relationship with the state auditor's team. On the legislative front, while it is August recess, there's a lot of pieces moving around back in Washington, D.C. as far as the funding picture goes. On the legislative side, we've got committee level markups for the House and Senate transportation bills. The House has taken a pretty big swing at transit funding and reduced it pretty dramatically, whereas the Senate is more or less fully funded our programs. And so we are obviously going to be watching with bated breath to see how that plays out as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year. Also at the federal level, Mark Molinaro, who was President Trump's pick to head Federal Transit Administration, has been confirmed by the Senate. So he's now in the job, and he's a former member of Congress, and Congressman Larson has a pre-existing relationship with him. And we're all expressing some cautious optimism, as he's made some pretty strong statements about supporting the federal transit programs that are in statute and being aggressive about pushing grant money out the door. So we're looking forward to meeting with him, perhaps as early as the APTA conference this September. We're working on that, and we'll keep you posted on that as well. As it is summer and it's pretty slow for the state legislature, we're preparing some outreach to our county level delegation to go out and meet with them and provide updates and work on those relationships a little bit and prepare for our draft legislative agenda for the next session in 2026. So it's a good time of year for us to have some of those casual and informal interactions with our state representatives. At the regional level, this Regional Mobility Partnership met a couple of weeks ago to get an update on preparations underway for the World Cup in 2026. There's a lot of work in particular underway with King County Metro and Sound Transit. Our team is part of a staff level working group that is coordinating on that and making sure that we're doing everything we can to ensure residents and visitors are able to get around during that event. Sound Transit, our friends at Sound Transit are breaking ground on their new bus operations maintenance facility next week over in Bothell at the Canyon Park Business Center. They've invited us to send a team over to bear witness to that, so we're going to do that, and we're excited to see them put that capability together as they get ready to activate their own BRT system later in this decade. Similarly, the Max alluded to the 2 line. That's the light rail line that will be serving the east side and come across I-90 and provide higher frequency service in Snohomish County when it activates early next year. A lot of testing going on there, and of course, that's going to be another key feature for helping folks get around during the World Cup and beyond. You're probably all aware that the Revive I-5 project is underway. That's the project WashDOT has in place right now to repair and preserve Interstate 5 through downtown. They're working on fixing the bridge deck on the Ship Canal Bridge. They've closed 2 northbound lanes for this month. They've put the express lanes, reversible express lanes, permanently in the northbound direction, and that, of course, has created a number of impacts to travel. So we have been reaching out pretty aggressively to communicate with our public digitally, through the media, online, to highlight the transit options that are available to folks. And we've actually seen a pretty good increase, about a 5% increase in total boardings on our express route since construction started. So modest, but definitely measurable. And we're pretty confident that is attributable to the traffic situation on Interstate 5. You may have noticed, if you haven't, I'll put in a plug for our digital talk show, That Transit Show. It streams on Facebook. Monica Spain recently hosted Adam Gerke from Fox News, their transportation reporter, and that episode is now up to 47,000 views on Facebook. So that's kind of cool. People are getting information and hopefully using that to use transit. As we reported at our board workshop last week, we're getting ready to go out for public outreach and public engagement on the Gold Line starting September 4th. So there's a lot of work underway here behind the scenes to prepare for our online open house and our information sessions and all the community events and meetings that are underway. So looking forward to that as summer wraps up. In terms of system performance, I mentioned the 5% increase in boardings on our express routes. Year over year, in the first half of this year, overall ridership is up 12%, which is about an additional 500,000 boardings compared to this time in 2024. So that's a continued robust ridership growth with our fixed route network, and it shows that folks are responding to the 2024 and beyond network. So our RAD group, led by Olivia Woods, will be reporting that formally to the committees here in the next couple of weeks. At our previous meeting, I flagged that we were having some challenges with service reliability. We'd seen an uptick in missed trips related to vehicle maintenance and fleet capacity. We've had a number of strategies in place to address that. And we are happy to report that we're seeing some stabilization there in terms of service reliability and a reduction in missed trips week over week. We are continuing to focus on aggressive recruitment, vehicle maintenance staff. We have brought some vehicles over from Cache Park to become part of our fleet, and we're also experimenting with some innovative ways of deploying our drivers out to the field to make more efficient use of our fleet. So the trend is in the right direction in that regard. And then finally, just finishing up on some fun stuff, Community Transit has won a grand prize award in APTA's 2025 Ad Wheel Awards competition for marketing. And this is to recognize our digital video advertising to recruit mechanics. That reward will be presented at the Transform Conference in Boston next month. So those of you who are planning to join me there will be able to receive that award. So congratulations to the marketing staff for continuing to do great work. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Rick. We appreciate it. On to committee reports. First, we have the executive committee. The executive committee met on July 16th. Mayor Frizzell, Councilmember Daughtry, and I attended. The CEO report, as was just shared, was provided, and the next committee meeting is scheduled for August 21st, 11:30 a.m. Finance, Performance, and Oversight Committee. We have Councilmember Daughtry pitch hitting for Mayor Frizzell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Finance, Performance, and Oversight Committee met on Thursday, July 17th in a Zoom format. Board member Mayor Frizzell, Mayor John Nearing, Councilmember Strom Peterson, and I attended. The committee reviewed and recommended 2 items to the consent agenda. One is the approval of the June 2025 monthly expenditures and payroll vouchers with items C through G. Or for all you military people, that would be items C through G. And award RFQ 2025-077 bus parts midlife overhaul in the 1700 series. Reports we received are the quarterly 2025 Security Services Quarterly Report by Scott Eastman, Senior Manager of Security Emergency Management. And then we had and that's a copy in your packet, 2024 Annual Financial Report by Sally Stroper, Deputy Chief Financial Officer. That's also in your packet. Sales tax report for June 2025 unaudited. In June 2025, Community Transit collected approximately 16.1 million in sales tax revenue, approximately 216,000 less than budgeted. Copy of that report is also in your packet. And the diesel fuel report and update, its average cost year to date through June 2025 was $3.10 per gallon, while the average cost per gallon budgeted 2025 was $4, resulted in a favorable variance of 90 cents per gallon through the date through June. Next Finance, Performance, and Oversight Committee meeting is scheduled for 2 p.m. on Thursday, August 21st, and via Zoom.
Thank you, Councilmember Daughtry. We appreciate it. Strategic Alignment and Capital Development Committee, Councilmember Merrill.
Okay, the Strategic Alignment and Capital Development Committee meeting was held remotely over Zoom on July 16th at 2 p.m. Meeting was attended by Mayor Marine, Councilmember Dunn, Councilmember Schweddy, and myself. The committee reviewed and forwarded 2 action items to today's agenda. First is award purchase of Vanpool vans, number 2025-98, sole source. And the second is resolution number 0725, adopting the 2025-2030 Transit Development Plan. The committee received 1 informational update regarding the August 2025 service change that was just now presented by Max. The next meeting for the Strategic Alignment and Capital Development Committee is scheduled for Wednesday, August 20th at 2 p.m.
Thank you, Councilmember Merrill. Appreciate it so much. All right, we'll move on to the consent items. Would anyone like to remove an item from the consent agenda today? You all good with the thing that's on there? Looks like we're all good. I'd entertain a motion for approval of consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Daughtry and seconded by Mayor Marine, I believe. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Perfect. On to the action items. Item A, resolution number 07-25, adopting the 2025 to 2030 Transit Development Plan. Sophie Luthen is here again to help us. Thank you. Sophie, take it away.
Thank you. So I'm here once again to present to you the 2025 to 2030 Transit Development Plan. So just a recap of how we got here. So this is our annual process for the TDP. We started working on this plan way back in April or even earlier than that for some of us with staff reviews leading into committee and the June Board of Directors meeting where we kicked off a 1-month public comment period. We had a public hearing at the July Board of Directors meeting, which concluded the public comment period. Presented the final draft transit development plan to the SACD committee in July, and then here for board consideration. So just kind of recapping what's in the plan, some of the highlights. So a major element of each TDP is a report on kind of our prior year performance. So 2024 was a big year for CT. We launched our 2024 and Beyond network. We saw continued growth in our boardings throughout our system. We had continued expansion of our SWIFT program with the Orange Line and the Blue Line expansion. Completed some of our facility master plan projects, launched Zip Shuttle pilot services, continued progress on our zero emissions program, and adopted several fare changes. Looking ahead, what we can expect in the future, continued service expansion, both with the kind of continued implementation of the 2024 and Beyond network, and then additional service growth beyond that. And then we expect to see additional growth in our ZIP and other services. We have capital projects that continue to be underway, SWIFT and Facilities Master Plan. We'll see continued progress in our zero emissions program, including starting to really see those buses in revenue service, and other programs like speed and reliability, our bus stop program. I think safety is listed hiding under the bar on the screen. And then, of course, our financial plan. So we always outline how will we pay for all of these things in the TDP. So we have a forecast of how our sales tax revenue will grow through this plan horizon. So we see a leveling off of revenue growth this year and into next year, but then a return to kind of our typical steady growth in 2026 and beyond. Some of the key expenses, those kind of big ticket items in the plan are service increases, our zero emissions transition, our facilities master plan projects, and our SWIFT BRT projects. So I mentioned we went out for public comment from June 5th to July 3rd. We had a really good turnout. We went with kind of an online open house format, which is what we've done for the past few public comment periods. So we got 86 comments in our survey, which was an online open house format. We received 6 emails, a handful of social media comments, and we did also receive one comment at our public hearing last month. And I would say the comments were generally supportive of the plan. We did ask some targeted questions about the redesign of the plan. What did people think of that? Was it more readable like we intended? Heard some support for that. We heard a lot of, nuances of service that people would like to see, which will be very helpful for our system planning team, for Max back there to, to sift through those comments as he plans for upcoming service changes. Things like that. And then lastly, we've got our motion on the table that the Board of Directors approve resolution number 07-25, adopting the final 2025 to 2030 Transit Development Plan.
Okay, Sophie, questions from board members? We've seen this a few times, but certainly want to, online, thank you. If you're online, you have a question, you can raise your hand. Anybody at the dais have any questions or concerns? Anybody online? Questions or concerns? So, all right, then I would.
Make a motion?
Yes, sir.
No reason to delay the inevitable. I move that the Board of Directors approve resolution number 0725, adopting the final 2025 through 2030 Transit Development Plan.
Second.
Stereo. Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Marine, and I think a second by Councilmember Doc. No, Councilmember Merrill. And thank you that was just in stereo in both ears. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, John. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Sophie, for
Thank you.
bringing that up to us. All right, on to award purchase of van pool vans number 2025-098 sole source. Brendan Works is here to tell us about it. Thanks, Brendan.
Hello, I'm Brendan Works, I'm product manager supervising the van pool program. I have what I think is a fairly simple request today. The board in January approved the purchase of about $4 million worth of vans, specifically 90 Toyota Sienna hybrids via the state contract. Those are the preferred vehicles both by our customers and our vehicle maintenance shop. Unfortunately, those vehicles have not been available on the state contract. So what we're asking for today is just the ability to purchase them through another source, specifically through the Toyota fleet dealers network. So we are looking at other vehicles. We did look at the Pacifica as we've purchased in the past, but our customers and our vehicle maintenance department has really said, please try to get the Toyotas. So that's what we're trying to do today. We continue to have a 6-month wait list with our customers for van pool vehicles. There's also an immediate need for surplus vehicles to go into as driver relief vehicles, which would really help some of the bus issues that Rick was talking about earlier. So that's a really urgent need. And so we would love approval basically to go through the fleet channel. And so that's really the proposal. We do plan certainly to continue to push the Toyotas that we have as long as we possibly can. That was something that the board asked about in a previous discussion. We know that they can go past 100,000 miles. We don't really want to push that with customers very much. So if we do that, it'll probably be, again, in the driver relief front where we're pushing things a little bit more. And we will make vehicles available from the 90 for the Van Go program, certainly after we use them for agency purposes. And with that, I would propose the motion. But first, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, board members, it's pretty straightforward. Councilmember Sweaty.
Yes, not knowing exactly where you're going to purchase these and where they're being built, do you have any idea if you're going to have to pay tariffs on this?
The tariff question is something that we do not have a clear answer on right now. We expect that we have enough funding, and if we don't, we'll reduce the total number if we have to. Instead of getting 90, we'll get 85 if that becomes an issue. But I don't foresee it being a problem for the purchase overall.
Okay, it's just everything I'm seeing is saying
Yeah.
that automobiles are being really, really taxed.
We really, I mean, Toyota has plants in the US. I frankly can't answer your question at this minute because it's such a dynamic situation, but we will certainly be complying with all federal laws and as we would expect.
Okay, thank
Okay, thank you. Other questions, board members? Online? Okay, pretty straightforward. I'd entertain a motion.
I move that the Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate and award a sole source contract for the purchase of 90 Toyota Sienna hybrids through Toyota Fleet Sales for a total not to exceed amount of $4,014,000.
Second.
Okay, the motion made by Councilmember Merrill and second, I believe, by Mayor Marine. Councilmember Merrill, maker of the motion, anything you want to comment at all? Pretty straightforward, but
Pretty straightforward.
yeah, okay, all right. Any other questions, concerns? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Brendan, appreciate you coming. All right, on to chair report. Chair comments. I was really grateful to have a big show by Community Transit at our National Night Out. Mike Suela was there. We took a selfie and it hit the internet and blew it up. And so it's really good. But no, it was a big presence there by Community Transit, 3 or 4 vehicles, and I think he helped with the band, and it was just a good show. Really appreciate that. We had about 1,000 or 1,500 people there. Would you say, Mike, is that pretty safe estimate? So that was a lot of fun. I really appreciated the support from Community Transit. That's it for me. Next regular meeting is scheduled September 4th at 3 p.m. We have no executive session. So on to board communications. We'll just go down the list. Councilmember Daughtry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm continue to be amazed by the shuttle service in Lake Stevens is growing. It seems like there's more vehicles, although I know we don't have any more vehicles, but we definitely need them, I believe. Case in point was Saturday, the Youth Advisory Council, which I'm an advisor for, had a blood drive. And two of the people that showed up to get their blood taken came in the shuttle, zip shuttle. That was impressive. They pulled in, I'm going, what's going on? And they get out and went into the van, and then later on, they came back and got them. So it seems like everybody is starting, to really take a look at using zip. So it's pretty impressive. So thank you very much.
Good. Councilmember Dunn.
Thank you. I just wanted to express thanks to staff and interns that were at the Latino Expo the other week. So handing out Orca cards or signing people up for Orca cards. So great to see the outreach.
Wonderful.
That's
Thank
all.
you. All right. Labor Representative Danny Julian. I think she's online. Anything from you today, Danny? Going once, going twice. We'll bring her back if she comes back on. Mayor Marine.
I don't have much other, and I haven't seen anything from the marketing department. My idea that, why don't you just zip it? I haven't seen any of those ads yet.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll be still looking for them.
They're coming, I'm sure. They're coming, I'm sure. Councilmember Merrill.
I would like to tag on to the National Night Out only because it came up. If you didn't come to the one in Snohomish, you missed getting a snow cone packed personally by me.
Oh, nice. Very nice. All right, Mayor Naring online.
Nothing additional for me. Thank you.
Hey, John, thank you for showing up here today. Councilmember Peterson, I believe is here. Councilmember Sweaty.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Board alternates, let me see, we have Mike Gallagher in the house, nothing from Mike today. Susan Payne, I believe, is online. Susan, anything today?
Nothing from me. Thank you very much.
Okay. And Mayor Wright's not there. Is there any, is she there? Mayor Wright? Oh,
I'm here.
Hello.
Hi, I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay, it's nice that you're there. Thank you for speaking up. Appreciate it. All right, is there any other business for the good of the order from the board of directors? Thing going on? I think that's all right. So we'll adjourn the meeting then. It's 3:45 and let you out a little bit early. Thank you.
Thank you.